MedBix webcast is a new kind of healthcare media channel to break the silo mentality and foster interdisciplinary thinking. Our mission is to fill that gap and to create a curiosity through different lenses, tapping the passion that guided the historical figures in medicine and bringing present-day groundbreaking research to the front lines. We interview physicians and leaders in the industry about present-day healthcare challenges on our live programming.
Welcome to the MedBix webcast. Welcome to the MedBix webcast. This is Ramana Raju. This is going to be a little bit noisy today, but if it is a noisy, go into the other room. let me say that I want to talk with you today about a couple of things. American Medical Association President Dr. Jesse in charge of that. Congratulations, wish him all the best. He's a great. He served in the Afghan army as a doctor, and then he is now president of the American Medical Association. Wish him all the best. I was listening to his interview on one of the doctors that AIs and the policies that he was articulating extremely well. About the AI and the relationship with the medicine. That's really how to watch and what to expect and how do you control those kind of things. That's very important. So I was on the other side of the coin is that healthcare. We are becoming Dr. Deepak Chopra is actually Dr. Deepak Chopra is a guru. Everybody thinks that, but he's more than a guru. He's a doctor. Actually, he's an endocrinologist, and actually. What he was saying is as humanity, we're walking into the sleepwalking into extinction. The reason he says that the greed, let me turn off this music off. The greed, the unkindness, not loving each other, it's a tribal nature of our nature is taking over our humanity. That is really sad part of the story now, and we need to really change that because healthcare, the technology was very useful, is useful, but if it becomes the technology platforms becoming a pyramid scheme, then it's a problem because it's funneling the money all the way to the top. That is most of the platforms are doing it. But anyway, so this is a thing that always. When we are in a humanities and crisis, woman comes to rescue. My friend is a good friend of mine, Dr. Rajita Bombakanti. She's a nurse and she's been a friend for me a long time. Let me bring her to the table. I don't know Shalini Gupta. I'm still waiting for her. Maybe it's too early. She, in India, they couldn't, understanding the time differences. I'm waiting. I mean, she may join with us in a few minutes, but I'll be talking with Rajita while trying to get Dr. Shalini Gupta from India. Let me bring Rajita. Welcome to the MedBix.
Thank you, Ramana. How are you?
Good. Let me ask you. You are a nurse. You work in the ICU places, and then you're a life coach. You did a lot of things. So tell me, what is your journey up to here? What is from the medicine involved in the medical aspect of it to all the way to be a life coach? What is that relationship?
So I have been a nurse for over 30 years, and I have worked in several different specialties. As I was working with patients, I got into nursing thinking that I'm there to help my patients get better, and they will be healthier after that. But in my journey, I have seen them coming back with the same issues. Sometimes some other issues they don't understand, and then in the healthcare system, when they come back, we label them they're non-compliant. And I thought I am in this of service business to helping patients get better, but I was not seeing that. It's like a vicious cycle. They have been coming back. That's when I kind of, did some research and all that. That's where I found, okay, there is a way to help help the patients. And also, I came from a family of, long chronic diseases and all that. And I did not want to continue that into my life. I do not want to pass that on. So that's when I adopted healthy living, which holistic way that I practice, and eating more plants, being kind, loving. It's a process. It's not an easy thing, forgiving, breath work, meditation, and all of that. So that's where I am in right now. And I do work at the hospital as a case manager. And my passion is helping people living a healthier and a happier life. I am national board certified health and wellness coach, and I coach them, in living how they can live a healthier and a happier life. So that way they are content and really redefining what success is. And most of us think success is earning lots of money, getting uh, high-end job, being a CEO, or buying a luxury car, right? But even after all that, inside within, they're not satisfied. It's like you could have tons of money, but you're not satisfied inside. What's wrong with that? So, is that really a true success? That's what we need to reflect on. So, coming from inside out, getting to know our inner self, and then having that love within you and towards you, and that's how then we can spread it. At first it starts with us, and then we spread it to everybody else around us. So that's where I want to help make a difference in people's lives, in helping them adopt those healthy.
Rajita, across the world, including the United States and across the world, we have a big crisis facing after the post-pandemic, which is the mental health issues all over the world. What is either it could be physiological, psychosomatic, whatever the reasons are, we have a huge problem in the mental health issues. How do we think that what are the solutions for this humanity for this facing a mass scale mental health problems?
um, That is true. It's very sad to see, so much, especially since the pandemic. We have seen that quite a bit. Um, I think one of the things is, social media, right? We are constantly glued on to all these different platforms, and on social media, people come off looking all kinds of prettier self and all, and that's how others relate. The younger generation relate to that. They think that's their real life. They don't know what's behind that, and depending on those likes, chasing after something that is that's not real. That's not real what they're chasing after. And then the food that we eat, it's all boxed up, sugary, processed food that affects our mental health. um, you know these are different things, and we are constantly in competition with each other. It's like competing. It's like, okay, you don't have to compete, right? We can still be cordial with each other, and live a better life. But that's not the way of life nowadays. So it's a different, it's a multi-pronged thing that goes on with this approach. The mental health system, it's not just one or the other, and the environment that we live in. So these are several things. At least, start off with one thing: having a relationships. That's another thing. Nowadays, how many times do we really pick up a phone and call nowadays? With the phone being, you're constantly texting. You're not seeing each other. There's no, that building of the relationship is not there. Connecting with others. We humans love connection. That
Rajita, yeah, Rajita, just I wanted to, sorry to interrupt you, but I want to talk with you one thing that you mentioned, competition. Competition is a survival survival of the fittest. That is a central theme of the United States entrepreneurship. But that is really affecting negatively in all of the entire world. That is not only in this country, it is passing to other countries now. That is a challenge that we have to address at the highest policy level, at the governmental level, at the policy level. We have to address that issue. We're not doing that enough. People like you definitely making some points, bringing the to the front to this conversation. So, what do you think of that? What we need to do, and people like you should be more active in this kind of a competition. Is not the it should not be the driving force of life. It is just it is a tool rather than a driving force of the life itself. So, what do you think of how do you solve that problem?
Well, it's all about understanding, right? I mean, competition, yes, we can have the competition, but not at the cost of, oh, somebody else has to fail in order for me to succeed. That's not the way of life, because we want everybody to be successful. But it's the way we have been programmed since we were young, how our environment surroundings is. So it's the shift that we have to make, our thought process, shifting that. So again, it is a process. People might say that, oh, it's so easy for her to say that. It is easy to say, but it takes time. But first thing is having that intention to make a change and having that awareness whenever, because we have been programmed over the years and it comes automatically. So when it comes, pausing, having that awareness and saying, how am I going to shift the next time around? So it all starts with, having that intention to be better, how you want to be, where you want to go in life. And then accordingly, each one step at a time, it's everything is not going to happen overnight. So slowly getting into that process about thinking and moving forward with it. But that's where I would start
Yeah,
first.
individualism is a good some extent, but that is not the central theme. That's what we are having now. That is a really coming back. It's hunting us back. That is the one thing we have to society as a society. We need to reevaluate our priorities, as you said. Not only individual level. In my view, yes, people like you are really bringing these things into the front. Discussion to the front side, but the most important is at this policy level, at the systemic level, it has to change. But Rajita, what are the other things that one of the things you were talking about, the food, what are the food things that so expand on that one. What kind of foods we should eat, and a little bit educate us.
Well, we have a body of research on whole food plant-based diets. Eating foods that are close to natural as possible, eating more vegetables, fruits, whole grains, right? All of beans, legumes. These are all natural products. We can have them without adding tons of oil, butter, salt. All these are that attracts us, right? That's what the boxed stuff is about. That those are all processed foods. But why not cook at home? Include your family, have a little garden in the backyard. If not, just get local food and enjoy cooking with the family, and everybody sit down and eat together. Those are that type of food is more satiating, and also it will dial down a lot of your chronic conditions.
So I
And
have, I have a doctor friend here, and she says that she invites neighbors every Saturday and have a dinner with them, and she cooks for them and dinner with them, and it's really therapeutic. It's a very good point you made. Really, that is sharing that food and eating all together makes a big difference in the way of communal living in that process. We're not just living by ourselves in the islands. You mentioned that. Yeah, that's a very good point you made it. What about the? So now we talk about food. Now we talk about mental health. It is what we should do to improve our mental abilities and mental health, and then depression and all those things. So how do you how do you deal with that kind of situations?
Um, Again, with the mental health, this is all the different components. Exercise is also a big thing. Movement. You don't have to go to a gym to get this membership. Any type of movement, whatever you enjoy, going out in nature, enjoying the nature and moving, that really helps you. Your mood will be uplifted. Do it first thing in the morning, and then just see how your day will flow. That those These are those simple practices that you can do that will uplift your mood. And also, if as you're going in traffic, if somebody is trying to get into the lane in front of you, let them go. You don't have to be um, you know cut that person out or use bad language. Just let them go, and then as you do this process, you just will feel so peaceful within. These are all different practices that will help. And meditation, we have so much of evidence on that. But depending on where you are in the state of that mental health, the stress, constant stress, our daily living is causing all these things, right? So just spending about 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes in the evening, and also throughout the day, pausing for an hour and reflecting where we are, to understand where we are, and using breath, which you have it and it's free and you can do it anytime. So these are the different practices that a person can do to improve their mental health,
You
reduce their stress, and get better sleep.
you just talked about another thing is forgiveness. Little bit expand on that one a little bit, Rajita.
um, this is something we hold on, right? When somebody does something, we say, okay, they did something wrong to me, or they did that intentionally. You don't know whether they did that or not, but we have all these perceptions, whether it's real or not. We perceive these things, and then our brain also cannot tell the difference. Whatever we are saying, that's what is happening within. And when you're holding on to things, let's say somebody does something, and let's say you said something to me, Ramana, and then I say, okay, he said this. I'm constantly thinking, you said it, you walked away, you were fine, but it's going on in my head. So who is hurting from this? Am I hurting, or are you hurting? Because I have this recording playing in my head constantly. So it is best for us to just forgive and move on. It is a process again, it's not as easy, but starting with that step, okay, that's how that person is. They reacted. That's okay. I accept them the way they are. And keep moving on, because if you hold on to it, it only hurts you and not the other person.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the one thing we all need to learn. We are consumed by these negative thoughts, um, and jealousy, that, the revenge, all these things. We are really, humanity is going in the wrong direction, in my view. Not only just, I see everywhere this competition and greed. And these are all, we need a lot of life coaches. What the life coaches? So we need a lot of life coaches like you, a lot more. So tell me what the life coaches do.
So I'm a health coach, right? So as a health coach, I am a partner, and helping them making their lifestyle changes. It's a slow process, one small step at a time. Guiding them, I'm their accountability partner, and coaching them through the process as they are changing one habit at a time. So it's a process. Usually it takes about 6 months or so by the time you because each habit, because we have been engraved in those habits for so long, right? so that we are not going to reverse back, because this is a lifestyle change we are making. This is not a short term. We are going to be living this way for the rest of our life. So I am their advocate, coach, accountability partner, guiding them through, and the clients are the ones are making their goals, what their goals are going to be, and empowering them to make those changes by using motivational interviewing.
So that you went through to become a life coach. You went through a journey from a nurse, being a nurse, and then being taking care of the patients, and then become a life coach. That journey is a long journey. It is a tough one, but I tell you that I'm going to present a topic on a woman who went through real journey that are really tough times on the 1800s, in the late 1800s. I'm going to present that topic, and you and me are going to watch together. And then after that, you can jump in anytime with that with this one. I don't know, Dr. Shalini Gupta didn't show up, so yeah, very sometimes happens to us. That I'm going to bring a this. Let me see. This is a way. Just a minute. Yeah, yeah. Let me do this. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, okay. Now I'm going to talk about 19 to 29-year-old three women. They made an extraordinary journey in 1800s, late 1800s, to come to United States. That is a picture was taken in 1885 in Dean's reception in Women's College of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia. That is a picture taken in 1885. So they're all serious looking, not smiling, because those days you have to freeze for a long time. You cannot move anything. You cannot move any parts, body parts or face even. So that's why they look serious. But they're all extraordinary women. They made an enormous journey from other countries. I'll tell you about that, each one of them. In the 1885, I wanted to give you the background. What is a life in the United States in 1885, and see how the woman came to what kind of a situations came here. The Statue of Liberty just arrived to New York City. AT&T was incorporated at the time, 1885. That's the year 1885. That's the time these people came in together here. Um, so in America, I'm explaining you the American life in 1885. Here is a transportation is still horse buggies. You know that there is no automobiles. We can't imagine a life without a phone, without automobiles, without car. This is the life that with horse buggies. And the slavery just ended at the 200 years. That is just the 20 years after the slavery ended officially. That is the year 1885. There's no indoor plumbing. Woman has to go outside, but they're all natural calls. That's the kind of a thing that in the 1885 the United States was. So Thomas Edison was a young man. He was the one invented, Thomas Edison bulb, as you know. He was the laying down the first electric lines in the New Rochelle, New Jersey. First electric lines. He was doing that in 1885. That is a place where this next to the diseases actually in 1885 are like now the tropical countries and other countries, third world countries, go through cholera, typhus, malaria, yellow fever, whooping cough, and tuberculosis. These are the common diseases in 1885. The National Board of Health, there's a National Institute of Health, used to be National Board of Health. That's 1879 to 1883. 1883, they closed it and they opened National Institute of Health. I think it started at that time. So during the before that, it used to be called the National Board of Health. After that, these are the diseases and the common diseases. So what the medications available in 1883 and 1885 is opium. They're giving opium for the pains, morphine and cocaine. Can you believe that? These are the medications for the pain. Fever, antipyretics, that's that a willow bark, that willow bark is some You can see in the pictures there, they look like cinnamon sticks. That's kind of looks like that. They're giving is for the fever. For the skin, camphor is a common medicine. They used to prescribe the camphor for the skin disease, skin problems. So medications in 1885 is Johnson and Johnson came up with a Medicaid first Band-Aids. They came out, that's a Band-Aid in the left side. You see that? So I remember even in India at the time when I was a kid, that is a Band-Aid used to come that way. Uh, so it's not that far India was, catching up at the time to 1885. Yeah. So those are the medications in 1885. So the first college, Women's College of Pennsylvania, was Dr. Ann Preston started it in Philadelphia. Now it's actually, if you go to, I used to go to Philadelphia then now quite a bit up to see friends. Walnut Street is just exactly looks like that right now. It still looks as it retained the same look, surprisingly. So they started a first women's college in Pennsylvania. Is the first women's college is in the medical college is in Philadelphia. Now that it's a Drexel campus actually is a part of the Drexel campus. Dr. Ann Preston was a dean in 1885. So the woman Anandi Joshi, she's from India. She was born in 1865. She made a journey from Pune, India. She's from Maharashtrian. She made a journey to United States to study medicine. She is the first woman who really to get a MD from United States. The next one is Sabat Islambali. She's a Kurdish Jewish woman born in 1867, and she's from Damascus, Syria. She made a journey to United States to study MD medicine. So the third one he is born in 1859. So she is the oldest one among all of them. So the Sabat and Anandi are very close to the age, but she is the oldest probably. So she is born in 1859. Ki Wakami, she is born in Tokyo, Japan. Kai Wakami, these three women came same time, more or less same time, to the United States to study medicine. They enrolled in the University of Pennsylvania, the Women's College of Pennsylvania. They enrolled in that. The life in Women's Medical College of Pennsylvania is interesting during that time. So they're the same. If you, I don't know whether you can read that classes are. They're all same. Physiology, anatomy, cleaning, sanitation, and all those things. The hygiene. All these classes they were offering. Materia medica, they call it is a pharmacology. They were offering those kind of things. So it's more advanced, but the classes are basically fundamentally remain same. So in the 1885. So that is the coursework. Actually, the periods they used to go. I used to have a same schedule in India to go to the periods, for my classes. But the next one that is the life of Women's Medical College. They're all the girls, young girls, they're having a fun. They're all is like living in a dorms. So they used to have fun with the skeletons. That's a picture was taken. In fact, it's interesting. They were not scared of. So they're having a good time with the skeletons and bones. So there was a debate going on. 1794, the first C-section was performed here by a doctor on his wife. There was no anesthesia, there no sterile equipment. Their instruments are not there. So they performed in 1794 in his log cabin on his wife, Elizabeth. Her name, I think I forgot his name of the doctor that he did in 1794. That's first C-section was done. But there is a lot of debate. A lot of religious people said that that's not a natural order. That's not the natural way of giving a birth. And also, there's a lot of risk because of the anesthesia. There is no anesthesia. There's no sterile instrumentation. Understood that the sterilization part of it. So there is a lot of women are dying, a lot of them, and the infant mortality and maternal mortality is very high, even in the C-section. But there was a lot of debate. So During the time, Ananda Joshi wrote a thesis on on the Ayurveda. In fact, she did very interesting. She was a prolific writer. She was writing in Marathi and English. She was a perfect English writer. I was surprised how good she was writing. She has written this one about the Ayurveda as the importance of obstetrics can be measure I cannot see much, measure only by the value of life and health, and both being of paramount importance and consequence, it is a deserving of a most careful study. She's saying that most important is you got to be very careful when you are making the decisions about life. This is a very paramount importance. Somebody is giving a life to them. So she was talking about Ayurveda, and then she was giving the importance to Ayurveda. Very interesting. She accepted the Western medicine. Same time, she did not, give up on the Ayurveda, the fundamentals of the basics of Ayurveda. Ayurveda is a medicine, traditional medicine in India. They all three end MD. We don't know what is the. I think Okami wrote the thesis on the Japanese children, the diseases among the Japanese children, and then we don't know much about Sabat Sambali. We don't know what she wrote, but we don't know much about them. A lot of them. Only Ananda Joshi we know a lot about her. Wakami was lived a long time. She was she was 82. She lived a long time. So Ananda Joshi, she had a tuberculosis. She went to the New England Hospital for externship, but she was extremely sick, and she moved back to Pune, at the last stages of her life. She died immediately after going back to India. She died. She was at the age of 25. She died. She was stuck with the tuberculosis, and she went back to Pune and died. She said that she could do everything that she could do. I have done I've done all that I could do. She said what she said. She traveled by ship, came to the United States, got MD, and then tried to do externship, and then she went back to see that kind of a thing. So she went through a journey, a true journey of life. Then next is Sabat is Islambuli. She gained a MD, and then she went back to Damascus, Syria, to practice medicine. Then she got married and then moved to Cairo, Egypt. So she was a very prominent woman. She did a lot of. She was a, in Egyptian in Syria. She was a union of the woman. She's a member of the union. She was a strong feminist, and she was fighting for the rights of the woman in Syria, in Cairo, in Egypt. She died in 1941. She died 74 at the age of 74, I think. The Wakami is the one who lived the longest time. I mean, she was 82. She was in 1941. She died, and then she went back to. She lived in Chicago for a while. She did some training there, and then she practiced in medicine in this country a little bit, and then she went back to Tokyo and studied. So all three women are basically, except the Anandi Joshi, rest of them took Christianity as a religion. But those countries are they're not, they're anti-Christian. A lot of them are. There's a lot of resentment among the public towards the Christianity at the time. So they face a lot of brutal discrimination in their own countries because their religious beliefs. They became Christians. That's one thing. The strong resentment came from the public. So Kai Wakami, she started a hospital. In fact, Jaiki Hospital in Tokyo, near Tokyo. She practiced. She had her own hospital for a while, and then she lived. She was a very. She wrote books, and she was a very prominent woman in Japan. But she was kind of faced a lot of discrimination because she was Japanese traditions. She was embraced the Christianity. That was a big problem for Japanese culture. Anandi Joshi kind of the Indian woman, Anandi Joshi, did something different. I will tell you about that. So we don't have the much written about them because of the resentment from the public. The Islambuli also Christian. She became a Christian in a Muslim country, but she's a Jewish and then she became a Christian. That was also resentful for the Islambuli. So these three women faced a lot of discrimination, except the Ananda Joshi, because these two women became Christians. They went back and they faced a kind of a resentment from their own communities. So Ananda Joshi, United States had a fascination for about India at the time, because in India, England was ruling already 100 years past in India's rule, British rule in India. So they did more than 200 years. But that is, Queen Victoria was the queen when Ananda Joshi was doing the MD in the United States. She wrote a letter to the Ananda Joshi, in fact, after graduation. Queen Victoria wrote a letter. She sent a telegram, I think, wrote a letter or telegram, I don't know exactly, but she did. She communicated with her. She gave her compliments. And then they were talking about tea. They are fascinating about tea and Indian jewelry, Indian saris. They were all fascinated by Bengali women. Calcutta was the capital at the time. So it was a big influence in the United States. Even though she lived only 25 years, they talked a lot about her biography. Was She was just lived 25 years, but the Indian culture was so, she was captivated. She spoke English very well. She is a prolific writer, Anandi Joshi. So a lot of people has written. Caroline Dahl. She's a Washington D.C. socialite. She met Anandi Joshi and she wrote a biography on her. It's the life of Anandi Joshi. So it's very interesting. She was talking about how different she is from a Bengali woman, you know. So there's a fascination for United States, the America at the time, about India, India's culture and all the civilization and all those things. So this Caroline Dahl is a very prominent socialite in Boston and Washington D.C. And she just actually hosted her for dinner at her house in Washington D.C. And she called all the socialites and were the top personalities. All the women came to see her sari and jewelry and everything. It was interesting. So Caroline Dahl is a writer, fiction writer, but this is non-fiction she wrote. There's another one, the Professor Shara Ross Kapit. She wrote a thesis on the educating women and position of the world in 1883 to 1911. She wrote a lot about Ananda Joshi. She gave a glowing tribute to the Ananda Joshi, how she managed the East and West culture. She managed both of them very well. So she gave in her thesis. She wrote great things about Ananda Joshi, Dr. Joshi. The international students of the Women's Medical College of Pennsylvania. She wrote quite a bit about them in her thesis. Professor Shara. I interacted with her. I just interacted I communicated with her. She was gracious enough to talk with me. She agreed everything I said. She agreed that I am saying things that what she found out. So I want to verify, make sure that I do. Say the history present clear. So to be to all women, these are all they face extraordinary discrimination in the adopted country and the home country back. Particularly the home country, they faced more discrimination because the Anandi Joshi did not face that much, but she did not live long enough. But Islambali and the Okami faced quite a brutal discrimination back home because they're practicing they're devout Christians. They became devout Christians. It was a big problem for them, but they're strong women. They made a journey and they made an impact in the women of medicine around the world, and the people like her, we need them. Dr. Joshi, I have a daily wear for medicine. We designed the clothes and bags. If you want to buy from there, you can go to daily wear for medicine, available on Amazon. But we need the greatest thing about Mother Teresa effect. Also, I did that on the Teresa effect is basically. I'm going to talk about Mother Teresa one day about on my program. But she's actually, she studied medicine a little bit, not a medical degree, but she did a medical courses. Mother Teresa, So these are all women went through extraordinary journeys. But most importantly, these three women who got MDs from the United States, they're doctors, and they went through extraordinary troubles to become doctors. Now, that woman, we need, when the humanity is in crisis, we need a woman. That's why I have a great respect for them, and Rajita is one of them, definitely. Rajita,
Thank
welcome back. So,
you.
did you hear that story a little bit? What do you think of it?
Yes, that's amazing. Those three women did a marvelous job, especially back then. Women going to college, studying, and doing it. It it takes a lot. That they had a lot within him. They were very determined to do it, and they did it. It's back then it wasn't that easy, and they are huge role models.
My father was a practicing physician in a small village. He's a doctor and he is a teacher in the same town. He is doing everything. There was no woman doctors at all. There is not even in that area, 10-mile radius, there is no woman doctors. So men are the only one taking care of them. Midwives are the only one they're doing something for the woman. So we're all, my brothers and me, we're all born in the homes. In fact, it is the it is we needed people like you. We need a more women to be doctors and the nurses. That we need them. Tell me about a little bit about your journey. Let me bring you back. So, what do you do now? What is your present day? What you're trying to do now? What kind of a life coach you're offering now? Classes or training? What are you doing nowadays?
As I was saying, I do work at the hospital too, but my goal is I'm a health coach, not a life coach. So I I help people in helping them in changing their habits. So I do online coaching. It's all virtual, and it's 8-week coaching classes. After that, I am with them, holding them, so that as they are making their transition, because it's not always a perfect line, right? Life is all about ups and downs. How do you handle things when you have obstacles that come, and how can you bounce back, get back into track where you were? So that is my goal, to try to touch as many lives as possible in helping them, transforming their lives, in living a healthier and a happy life. And during that process, as I am coaching them, I that's also helping me through my journey. And everything that I coach and talk to my clients, it's all evidence based, and I practice that on myself first, and then I coach others, and helping them in leading, making a lifestyle change. You're muted.
Yeah, we need a lifestyle changes. Definitely, everybody needs nowadays. With all the, in the from technology is taking over our lives. We need to understand how we can adopt it. How do you take care of them? That's one of the Dr. J.C. Hunfield is talking about, how we can handle the technology. How should they have the responsibility, as American Medical Association has a responsibility. What is this technology is doing for mental health? It's good or bad or too excessive? They need to clearly define he was a very articulate about that. So people are rushing to there are a lot of benefits to technology, no question about that.
Mhm.
We That's why I could able to talk with you now, because of technology. But excessive food is bad to the health. Excessive technology is bad to health. Excessive food is bad to the physical health. Excessive technology is good, probably bad to the mental health. So we all, can you give us some simple techniques that we can do at home, then relax ourselves and then really be positive outlook on the life?
Um, I would say just start off every morning just sitting in silence by yourself. And yes, thoughts will come, but just don't entertain those thoughts. Let them flow, and just sit in silence. And as you do that, be consistent. Whatever you do, just be consistent with it. And the more consistent you are, you will slowly start getting to know your inner self. And other simple thing is just going out in nature, enjoying, the nature, smell the flowers and the trees, get that sun soaking into you. All of that will really improve your mental health. Just start off with one thing. Whatever, I gave two options. Which one are you going to start off with starting tomorrow morning?
Yeah, that is a very good lesson for all of us, including me. So thank you so much, Rajita. It's a wonderful talking with you. It's always wonderful talking with you, and it's a great lesson for all of us. We need a woman that giving a positive input for all of us. Thank you so much. We had a. I don't. This is a. You're always a great co-host for me. In case somebody is missing a guest, and you're always welcome here. Thank you so much, Rajita.
You're very welcome. It was my honor here. Thank you for having me over
Yes.
today.
Good night, all of
We are retelling their stories through our patented designs that can be worn on scrubs, t-shirts, printed on conference bags, and endless other promotional materials. Daily Wear for Medicine is the first ever of its kind to create curiosity in medicine through visual art. We at MedBricks are celebrating unsung heroes of the past who made enormous contributions to the field of medicine through our unique campaign called Daily Wear for Medicine. You can wear it, carry it, and give it.